What if you found a new way of watching your favourite show? The plot and the characters are the same, but the meaning is completely different. And what if the way you thought about movies was never the same again? Are you willing to take that chance? Welcome to Abstract Nonsense, the Fan Theories and Alternate Readings podcast. My name is Joe Lewis, and I'm joined by Anthony Bull. How are you, Anthony?
Hey Joe, how's it going? I'm doing good.
You didn't wait for me to ask.
Let me do that again.
Yeah, I know how you are now. It's been spoiled.
All right.
I know the ending. Which is something we try not to do on this show, but it's something that is inevitable as we discuss fan theories. Today, we are talking about fan theories and possibly spoilers for Fallout. And we're not just talking Fallout 3 today. We are talking the entire Fallout universe. Although, I believe, Anthony, there's a couple that you've got that are very specifically for Fallout 3 and Fallout 4.
Yeah, I'm a person who's really liked Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. Predominantly, I came in on Fallout 3, so that's going to be where almost all of my theories are going to be on, is Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I wish I could have done something for New Vegas, but that one's tough as it is.
So, Fallout 3, 4, and New Vegas are by different people that made the original ones. The newer ones, for those that aren't familiar with the series, are first-person, action-y, sort of RPG-type games where it's obviously set in the Fallout universe. So the Fallout universe is a place where it's a retro, post-apocalyptic futurism. I think I've got that right. So it's set in a world that has advanced from a super scientific version of 1930s-ish?
Yeah, so I think it is that it diverges by the fact that the vacuum tube is not invented.
Okay.
So everything from there and on, so that's why they have large transistors. So technology naturally progresses, just the vacuum tube and other things are not invented. So you have computers, but you have massive TV screens for those computers. Yeah.
So we
have...
have...
Oh, no, sorry, it's a semiconductor, not a vacuum tube.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's a difference, I mean.
Yeah, we're set in the 221... What's the specific year? It's in the far future, but it's from a point that has diverged in 1930 society.
2177?
I think so, something like that. I think it depends on the game or what specific year it's set in. But since the technology is different, the culture is also fairly different. It's very much based on that, ideal of that 1930s home and technology. So everything is like, the ideal housewife and the thing, but except that's now been corrupted by the post-apocalypse, which in this case was a nuclear apocalypse, and now there's such things as super mutants and ghouls and all that stuff that you can read about and play if you're interested in the game. So we're going to go through a few of the alternate theories and fan theories we've got for this. I want to start off with the theme song. Iconic or not, Anthony, the Fallout theme song. I believe it's different a little bit throughout the games, but the Fallout theme song as known in 3 and 4 is that, that building...
Ba, 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 ba. That one.
Yeah, you didn't need to actually do it because I'll put it underneath.
Ba, ba. Yeah, no, it is absolutely iconic of a theme song. I think I'd say Skyrim would come second as an iconic theme song. When you hear it, you know exactly where it's coming from, and it sort of builds up the environment. However, the original Fallout theme song, what was it called? It was... Oh God, what was the original song called, Joe?
I don't know. You've got it written down in front of you.
The original theme song for Fallout 1, maybe by the Ink Spots, was probably pretty iconic, as well as I think Don't Set the World on Fire is another very iconic theme song. And I'd have to say that I like the orchestral version, but I really... If I had to choose between the two, I actually prefer Maybe by the Ink Spots, just because it fits the world so well. It fits that 50s classic. What about you?
Well, it's that old-timey vibe, and that's what Fallout's going for. And I think that's one of the things that make Fallout work is a world, not just the aesthetics, but also the music and the things that you hear as you go along the journey. And as we all know, radio is very important in Fallout. So let's launch off with one that you might scoff at, Anthony. I've got a bit of a theory here for you, sent in by Angus via Facebook.
Not Angus Young.
Not Angus Young.
No.
Angus Old has sent this one in. Right. And Angus Old says, super mutants are actually normal humans in this world. Okay. So.
Okay.
in the world of Fallout, super mutants have been created. Well, in Fallout 1 or 2, we find out they're created by a super mutant guy.
Yep.
But let's just ignore canon and
Master.
have a bit of an imagination. Yeah, the Master. What if super mutants are actually normal humans? And all of the actual normal humans of the game have been experimented or affected by Vault-Tec technology.
Yeah.
And have become weaker and more intelligent, and therefore see super mutants as this vile, disgusting alternate version of what humans are.
So what you mean?
So we're seeing
it's seeing it through a lens.
It's an unreliable narrator, if you will.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be true. Well, what about the ghouls? That's the obvious question that comes up. Ghouls are just radiated people. So are they more radiated, or are they technically less radiated? Like, are the humans in this universe actually ghouls, or for lack of a better word, and the humans are actually perceived by them to be ghouls? Ugly, they smell weird because, I don't know, the human beings, like the ghouls think that they look pretty good. They think humans look pretty ugly. Maybe it's like through their own eyes. They're like, oh, those ghouls, they're so gross. And it turns out they're actually like normal, regular people.
That asks the question, how do ghouls perceive themselves?
Yeah.
A lot of the girls seem to recognize that they're falling apart, but some of them aren't. So they don't see themselves that way. They just kind of see themselves as normal people, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I guess, if you're putting on a lot of weight, you don't notice it immediately.
Until you are
because
fat.
It's slowly. And then you're like, oh, shit, I woke up today and I'm fat now.
Yeah.
It happened. You didn't realize the transition, even though, these things are changing about you. So, there you go. Thanks, Angus.
That's a theory that could work. Good extension of that theory, maybe the super mutants are actually tribals.
Tribals?
So, like, they're like raiders, I guess, but they're much stronger. And you're just a regular dude who maybe lived in a vault, or maybe you lived in your city, you're unaffected, or you were affected by radiation in this story, and you see these regular humans who have gone back to a tribal world as pretty much being savage mutants.
So you're saying that through the eyes of the unreliable narrator, the Vault Dweller, from the early Fallouts, we send him out into the world and everything is scary, and so he's exaggerating things. This is like a tale he's telling to somebody else. So, there are people out there that can smash their hands through walls and carry miniguns with one hand. And this is just, this exaggeration, this passed down tale. Maybe these people don't exist. Fellhounds. Oh, what are they called in Fallout? The mutant dogs?
Chimeras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. They are, they might just be dogs.
Centaurs. Sorry, they're called centaurs.
Centaurs. Or whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, I understand that. Like, it makes sense. Like, he's trying to tell people a story. It's like 300, the movie 300.
Yeah, exactly.
How that's actually a regular battle, but it's being told through the eyes to encourage troops to fight through the eyes of a Spartan. And that's why everything looks so weird in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That totally makes sense, actually, when you think about it. Maybe, how about this? In original Fallout 1, the whole point was to keep people in the vault. So that was the idea to keep them scared of the waste. What if this story is told by the Overseer to the vault residents? And that keeps them in place because they think, oh, God, big super mutants, when it's just really large people. I mean, the Romans used to think that the Germans were giants.
Yeah.
That's only because they were very large and stocky. So why it makes sense that they would think that super mutants are just these really dumb, uneducated giant brutes.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's a good theory, Angus.
Yeah, thanks, Angus. Led us on a bit of a path there. Anthony, I do believe that you've got a couple of interesting ones for us. Do you want to
I'll start with
us out?
One. It's about Fallout 3. At the end of Fallout 3, the Brotherhood of Steel are working on Project Purity, which is used to try to get clean water to the citizens of the Capital Wasteland.
Okay.
Now, the Enclave want that facility as well. And I think in Augustus Autumn, he's the colonel and now de facto president of the Enclave. His own words for wanting it are, the American people are worth fighting for. The future must be secured. I won't let you stand in the way of that. Once you're dead, we'll finish off the pathetic Brotherhood and become the true saviors of the wasteland. It's really important to point out, they wanted to set up a government that would allow for the safe distribution of this water to the people of the wasteland so that they would see the need for the Enclave and thus reestablish the government. Because remember, there's a big difference between the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave. The Brotherhood of Steel is a quasi-religious order, which is obsessed with new technology.
Yep.
That's their main focus. The Enclave is a continuation of the US government.
Yep.
So the Brotherhood of Steel, their focus is not on preserving pure water around the Capital Wasteland. If anything, that's a deviation from what they should be doing. What they should be doing is looking for new technology, but they're too busy helping trade water all around the Capital Wasteland, and they don't allow raiders to have any because they're evil.
Yeah.
Problem with that is it creates a black market, and that black market creates a perverse incentive for more gang members to get involved in trying to kill traders, because then they can get water and deliver it to the slavers.
Okay.
The Brotherhood of Steel do not have the time nor focus to be able to manage that. So it's a complete terrible system.
So your theory is that the Purity Project is an economically defunct system, correct?
It is, yes. And the managers of said system do not have the focus, the adequate focus and the adequate resources to deliver a stable delivery system to ensure the protection of the people and the distribution of the water. The Enclave, on the other hand, their entire focus is on establishing or re-establishing the government.
Okay.
And if their goal is to get people water, who will then vote for them or say, we need the Enclave, they will focus 100% on ensuring water shipment goes to the right people and that the traders are protected. Yes, there will still be the perverse incentive of the black market, but the Enclave will have the troops and the ability and the desire to take out those slavers, to take out the raiders. Whereas the Brotherhood of Steel, half of the people will say, yeah, we'll do that. The other half will say, this is bullshit. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. That'll cause fracturing in the system. Yeah,
it's interesting because the Brotherhood of Steel is probably one of the most interesting things about Fallout, and not for the reasons that people immediately think of a lot of the time. So people always think Brotherhood of Steel, they're the guys walking around in power armor. Yeah, that's correct, but it's also more interesting than that because throughout the timeline of Fallout, their motivations change depending on the different place where they are. But, you know, a lot of people seem to think, at least, you know, outsiders to the game or people that haven't played many of the Fallout games, Brotherhood of Steel, they're the good guys of the Wasteland. They're protecting everything. But that's not necessarily true.
It's actually a rare exception.
They're extremely interested in finding technology, creating new technology, and this religious desire built up around this technology. Their interests don't necessarily align with others in the Wasteland, nor do they align with traditional good morals, right? Or human morals as we know them now. So it's very interesting that one of the most iconic factions of a video game could, by some, maybe even be perceived as evil.
Yeah, I can understand that. And they are. Some of them are evil, or at least from a certain perception. Those in Hidden Valley, in New Vegas, or in Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, they're kind of evil because you are sent on suicide missions or you have a bomb collar strapped to your neck in order to join.
Yeah.
So they actually want you to die because they really do not like the idea of recruiting outside of the Brotherhood of Steel. Only the Eastern Brotherhood actually like that because I guess it's a need of a necessity, as well as Owen Lyon's goal and vision.
Yeah, well, they're also extremely xenophobic.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't like outsiders, don't like anything that's not human, and it's a very interesting moral line that they walk.
I got to throw a caveat in here. The Enclave believe that anyone who's not inside the Enclave is not necessarily a true human because they've been exposed to radiation.
Okay.
The only true humans are in the Enclave or those who are within a sealed vault because the radiation's affected their DNA. Yeah. So it's highly possible that the Enclave would be looking to try to displace or get rid of these people who are in the Capital Wasteland, who are exploded by radiation. But I'll be able to counter that by saying that President Eden wanted to put in a modified FEV virus that would do exactly that, kill all the people who were slightly irradiated.
Okay.
Colonel Autumn rejected those plans, and then I have to imagine he usurped authority from President Eden because he thought that's exactly what he was going to do next. So he told all the Brotherhood, the Enclave, you are under my command now. So under his command, he wouldn't be trying to eradicate the people of the Capital Wasteland. Only President Eden wanted to do that.
Cool. Thank you, Anthony. I've got another one here, just a short one sent in by Judith. And Judith says, Fallout takes place in the past. Okay.
Okay.
Anthony's sighing. You don't like this one. We get a few of these occasionally. You know, such and such takes place in the past.
But
and usually it's a post-apocalyptic.
What's the justification, though?
Well, there is no justification on this one. This is, you know, it's okay.
I mean,
we can't all be great philosophers like you, Anthony. So the idea of this is, I believe, that Fallout takes place in the far past, and then everything deteriorates to the point that everything's destroyed, probably on the brink of another nuclear war, which is, you know, somewhat inevitable if you look far enough into the Fallout lore. Some of the factions will destroy each other nuclearly. How do you say that?
Nuclearly?
Nucleically?
Nucleically, yes.
Is that correct?
I think it's a nucleic acid, so yeah, probably.
Sure. If you're a nucleologist, you can let us know.
Yes.
So they're going to destroy it, destroy everything. Everything will go back to the way it was, and then new cultures will develop. Likely or not?
Oh, it's possible. I'm saying it's possible. You never know. Like, for all we know, there could have been a culture 10 million years ago.
Yeah.
Or 20, 30. There could have been 100 million years ago. There was a culture of aliens who came to the Earth. You don't know. Because that far ago, you'd need to see, like, evidence of, like, fossils. You need to see fossilized buildings, I imagine. But then again, I guess you'd want to see fossilized people as well. Maybe they were Tyrannosaurus. Maybe Tyrannosauruses or whatever. Maybe they were actually, like, super awesome scientists and shit. And they had, like, guns. You never know. Because the guns would have, like, totally broken down over time. Maybe, like, that's why they got the short arms. You think, oh, because they're actually Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, it's like an endoskeleton for, like, an alien. I don't know.
All right. Yeah.
It could do. Right? That could be how it works.
There you go. An alternate theory for dinosaurs.
Yeah,
everyone.
There you go.
Dinosaurs. Okay, I believe you've got a fairly in-depth one, Anthony.
Yeah, I do.
And I believe the word fascist is brought up several times.
Not so much fascist, but if you're talking about the Brotherhood of Steel, well, yeah, they are fascists, kind of.
Well, like, yeah, they kind of are. So, fascist warning for anyone who doesn't like fascists.
Yeah, which is most people. So, it's about the Brotherhood of Steel on the East Coast, and this odd thing that happens in Fallout 4. Now, if anyone who's played Fallout 4 knows Arthur Maxson is the elder and high elder of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Okay.
He's 20 years old.
Yep.
He was on the throne. He ascended to the throne at the age of 16, which is a really absurdly young age. I mean, that's obvious. Yep. I don't think, not even Alexander the Great was king before he was 20, I don't think.
How old was Alexander the Great? You don't know?
Don't know, but I know he died when he's 30.
Well, Tutankhamun was 13, right?
Tutankhamun was the product of incest and just gross. You know, he was a terrible
get assassinated?
Leader. Yeah, probably because he was terrible at his job.
Sure.
Yeah. And as I said, in Fallout 3, you actually have Arthur Maxson at the Citadel, which is where the Brotherhood live, at the age of 10. So my theory, or my alternate reading, is how they went from the Elder Lions dynasty to this incredibly invigorated and much more classical and traditional Brotherhood under Arthur Maxson in less than 6 years.
Because, you know, for a young leader, especially in if the Brotherhood of Steel democratic, do they vote in their leaders or are they selected?
It's not clear. I tried looking this up. I think they're chosen by their own group, so they're chosen by the council within the faction. And then again, I think you then have to send it to the High Elder or the Elders Council of Elders, who then have to approve or disapprove. But then generally they'll approve unless they're terrible.
In any case, a young leader, a young radical leader, is usually the product of something crazy happening, like a product of the times.
Yeah.
So I believe that's what you're about to explain.
Well,
right?
actually, Arthur Maxson is of royalty.
Okay.
His father,
yes,
and grandfather and great-grandfather were all elders, and I think his great-great-grandfather started the Brotherhood of Steel.
Okay.
So he was born to lead. So he was going to be an elder at some time. But at 16, that's really fucking young. Let's just have a brief look quickly at Elder Lions and see what went wrong. Okay, the reasons why the Elder Lions Brotherhood, why they were sent over to the east, there were 3 reasons: to recover and preserve advanced technology, investigate the source of super mutants on the east coast, which shouldn't exist technically because the Master was on the west coast, so they were really confused, and they needed to reconnect with the Midwestern Brotherhood of Steel. Of all of those reasons, only one of them they are actually actively doing. Sure, they are recovering and preserving advanced technology, but most of the time they're just recovering advanced... They're not really covering advanced technology. It's more they're recovering, books and knowledge. And that's fine, but that's not their forte. What they want is advanced weaponry, advanced shields, advanced armor.
It doesn't have to be military technology.
Well, it doesn't have to, but it's well understood that if you are seen carrying a laser pistol, the Brotherhood will take that off you.
Yeah.
If you are seen carrying a massive book on quantum physics, they wouldn't give a shit.
Well, they'd be interested.
But they would not take it off with the strength, because remember, weaponry, they take it off the people because they are concerned that the people will destroy themselves with this advanced technology.
That's the motto, I guess, or the driving force behind the Brotherhood. We have to separate this technology from humanity because they can't be trusted.
As a whole.
Though we can.
Yeah, we can. We know what we're doing. So I feel like people were united under the Elder Lions because they were fighting against the super mutants and then later the Enclave. Right?
Yep.
Now that the super mutants are the problem's kind of solved because they've gotten rid of the FEV in Vault 88, and they've created Project Purity, which gets pure drinking water, and the Enclave's pretty much defeated. What reasons do they have to be? What are their reasons now? Their reasons are to get advanced technology and reconnect with the Brotherhood of Steel in the Midwest. Neither of those they've done at all.
Okay.
Now, but Elder Lion has changed the whole thing. Elder Lions has said, no, we're going to help the people of the Wasteland.
Which is not their directive
It is
at
not
all,
their directive.
as we discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you might think, oh, they're going to try to kill him. I researched the organizational structure of the Brotherhood of Steel in the East Coast.
Okay.
Too many people are in powerful positions that favor Elder Maxon. That is an impossibility. They cannot have killed him, but he can die of old age. Right?
Oh, wait, Lions or Maxim?
Lions. Elder
yeah.
Lions. We're going to call him Owen Lions because it's going to get confusing because Sarah Lyons becomes the Elder as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Owen.
Owen Lions. Owen.
Owen.
Yeah. It's important to note just a couple of things. One, the Brotherhood of Steel High Council they haven't disowned them, but they've cut off a lot of support for them.
Okay, the main
in the East
Brotherhood
Coast.
of Steel.
Yep. So they're not getting fresh recruits, nor are they getting any logistical support.
Okay.
So they have to recruit from outside of the Brotherhood, which is fucking great because it makes it way easier to figure out who became the next Elder, what was the scheme, and who was actually conspiring to put Arthur Maxon on the throne.
Okay.
Because there's only a limited amount of people who could have done that.
Yeah.
All right. And it's not the Lone Wanderer. He's out of it. We're not including him. That's bullshit. Right?
Why?
Because he gets to make his own decisions.
But if you're the Lone Wanderer, you
Yep.
can make your own decisions, and maybe that dear lister made the decision to overthrow Elder Lions
Well-
in their version of Fallout.
Well, just doesn't happen.
Player agency, Anthony.
No, not going to happen. That's bullshit. Okay, so here's how it happens, all right? First off, we have Elder Lyons. He dies. The next person to go up to the Elder is Sarah Lyons.
Okay.
Okay? Now, Star Paladin Cross, she's third in command. She was under Owen Lyons. She would stay as the bodyguard, because that's what a Star Paladin does. Right? It's handpicked by the Elder.
Yep.
She would stay as the bodyguard of Sarah Lyons. However, we know Sarah Lyons is an ambitious and very much loves a good combat role. So chances are she would not have taken her bodyguard with her.
Okay.
For her, it would be a great insult. She's the leader of Lion's Pride and would remain so.
Okay.
Right? Which is why, shortly after, she dies in combat. Now, I used to think, they conspired to kill her. No, I just think she literally died in combat. Like,
Okay.
that just happened to be good fortune for some conspirators down the line. So she died in combat, all right, about a year later. Right? And at this stage, we're going to do a recap. All right? I say, after the events of Fallout 3, Owen Lyons dies. It's about a year. And then Sarah Lyons dies about a year, because it's a short time, it's described. Arthur Maxon is 12 years old now, and at that age, he kills 2 raiders, which seemed pretty cool. It's an achievement considered in his life. The next person to become the Elder, all right, is the third in command, Star Paladin Cross.
Okay.
Now, she's important. She's actually a cyborg, or partial cyborg.
Sure.
Because of some injury that had happened back in her past.
Yep.
And Scribe Rothschild, High Scribe Rothschild, who is the same age of Owen Lyons, or close to, right? He built her robotic body. He's also an expert on robotics. He was the one working on Liberty Prime.
Yeah.
Okay? So she becomes the leader, Star Paladin Cross. Now, this is all circumstantial. I believe Scribe Rothschild dies shortly thereafter, maybe within 2 years, because he's around about the same age of Elder Lyons. So if Elder Lyons died, if Owen Lyons died 2 or 3 years ago, it's not unfair to assume that he would die as well of old age. Why wouldn't he? I mean, they're roughly the same age, and all the evidence says that they pretty much knew each other from birth. Or not birth, but from young age. Right? So when Scribe Rothschild dies, Star Paladin Cross no longer has anyone who can actually take care of her cyborg body. If it malfunctions, if it breaks, he can maybe go see some of the other people who are expert in power armor, but they aren't actually expert in robotics. So they can keep her alive, maybe, but she can't be a functioning leader. So she probably has to abdicate shortly.
Sure.
Right? I believe she abdicates within basically a year or two, and this is when Arthur Maxon is 14. Right before that, he's 14, and then it becomes 15. These are important, okay? Because at 14, he kills a Deathclaw.
Okay.
Single-handedly. That's a big deal.
How did he kill a Deathclaw at 14 years old?
We don't know. It just says he single-handedly did it. He got a big scar from it. But at 14, he's supposed to have killed a Deathclaw. Now, that might have been some conspiracy in the background where it's like they set it up to try to make him ascend to the throne.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think at 14, that was just some remarkable thing that occurred. This is then when conspirators start talking to the Brotherhood of Steel High Council, and they say, we got Arthur Maxon here. He just killed the Deathclaw. We don't have many good elders. We obviously want to put this kid on the throne at some stage.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, but it's taken forever. So basically the high elders are conspiring amongst each other. It's like, okay, well, why don't you just make him look really good? All right, have him go and take credit for things such as taking out the super mutant leader Shepard and defeating the super mutants.
So you think he did actually kill the Deathclaw, but he didn't take out the super mutants? That was a setup.
Yeah, that was a setup.
Okay.
He also didn't reunite the Brotherhood of Steel outcasts. Right. He sort of did, but he basically went to them with his trainer for most of the life, which was Paladin Gunny. He was a trainer of new recruits and had absolute access to Arthur Maxon throughout his young life.
So you're saying that who's architecting this setup?
I believe it is Paladin Gunny.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so Paladin Gunny actively wants Maxon on the throne and is manipulating and setting up these events following Maxon's actual killing the Deathclaw, which of course is probably some sort of accident.
It's going to take some time. He's not sure when it's going to happen.
Okay.
But in the interim, you can't have no elder. So the next person in line for the throne has to be Paladin Tristan. He's the head of operations at the Citadel.
Sure.
Right? And he's from the operational side, not from Lion's Pride, which is the bodyguards. Now, the other operational person is Paladin Gunny. He's a recruit. He stays at the Citadel. I believe likely Tristan would have made him his star paladin, making him second in command.
Okay.
Right? And it's interesting because, again, there's no recruitment process. Right? There's no getting new troops from around the wasteland. Sorry, from the Brotherhood of Steel. So anyone who was a dissenter, who was at the bottom, and most of them were under Owen Lyons, as people died, they rose up through the ranks based on necessity. At this stage, you've got people who are high scribes, you've got paladins who do not like the old dynasty. They want to return to the traditional values. There's enough of those people there.
Because these are traditional Brotherhood guys that weren't directly aligned with Elder Lyons.
Yeah.
But were low in the command, and since there were no new people come in. Although, if there were new people come in, they would have had the old Brotherhood values, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, is this theory superfluous?
Not necessarily. I mean, they might have actually tried to recruit more people. They did definitely recruit more people from the Capital Wasteland. Okay. But, again, I don't know.
Sure.
I do think it's about more of necessity as well. Because, those people also probably would have respected their elder a little more.
Okay.
But this one, you've seen this, the hodgepodge, and you're just like, this is bullshit. There's 5 or 6, there's 2 or 3 elders in a couple of years. We want to actually get a decent elder on for our own. I could understand that and respect that.
Yeah.
The conspiracy is, now that Paladin Tristan is on as an elder, right, they're starting to try to get rid of him now. They're trying to architect this whole thing. Arthur Maxon, 15, he goes to become 16. He works with the Brotherhood of Steel outcasts, and this is where the trap is sprung. Arthur Maxon is an expert on the Codex of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Okay.
Right? Not many people are, but there were only 2 people in the East chapter who were actually reciting lines from the Codex.
Okay, is this theory now or fact?
This is fact.
Okay, this is canon.
This is canon, right? There are only 2 people who actually say lines from the Codex, and that's pretty much what they do. That was Star Paladin Cross, and as I said, she can't do it because she's just out of commission.
Yep.
Right? And Arthur Maxon. Now, in the Codex, there is a rule called the Chains That Bind. It was used to dethrone Elder McNamara in New Vegas.
Okay.
It is a rule that is punishable, but rarely enforced, because it says that if a command is given to someone below your below your rank, if you overlap someone's commanding officer in giving rules, right, you can actually be demoted for that. So so in New Vegas, Elder McNamara doesn't go to the High Paladin. He goes further. He goes to the Paladins. He doesn't tell the High Paladin to tell the Paladins. That's against the rules. And using that, the High Paladin there kicks him out, demotes him to something like Initiate rank, and he becomes the Elder.
Okay.
Arthur Maxon knows this.
Yeah.
And the one thing about Tristan is, in Broken Steel, he's constantly giving orders to the Lone Wanderer.
Yeah.
All right? So there's a highly likely chance that he's also doing that because he's keeping his operational manager role.
Yeah.
He's probably going about giving orders to paladins that he shouldn't be giving orders to. He should be going to Star Paladin Gunny first, who should then go to the next person. Using this, they invoke the Chains That Bind, or as a violation, right? And then Paladin Gunny demotes him down probably to some role, maybe a knight, because you can't kill the people, but it'd be good to get him killed. So maybe they'll send him out on a field mission later, because he needs to. He does need to die, because he can't come back.
Yeah.
And then they decide to hold this election because, what's this? Paladin Maxon now. What's that? He's reunited the Brotherhood of Steel outcasts. That's crazy. He's also defeated those supermutants. This guy who has a history and a right by birth to be an elder should probably be called the elder now. Because we have had a history of shit elders. And that is how Arthur Maxon becomes the elder. And once he becomes elder, he uses his powers as Elder and then High Elder to erase the Codex.
So why does Gunny... Why is he invested in this? What's his motivation?
Gunny doesn't like the a move from the current Owen Lyons style Brotherhood. He doesn't like the move towards that. He wants to go back to traditional Brotherhood roots.
Okay.
He could become the leader himself, but it'd be a lot better if you just put Arthur Maxon in charge, because Arthur Maxon has the weight on his shoulders of the dynasty of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Sure.
So there's no doubt that he will return to the traditional ways. Or at least it's a better bet than if, we keep it as it is with Paladin Tristan, who was a sympathizer of Owen Lyons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the theory.
Okay.
I think that's
a very long theory.
It's a long theory, and it's...
Can you sum it up for our audience? You're explaining that
Paladin Gunny conspired with Arthur Maxon to try to put him on the throne so that they could return to the traditional ways and erase the Owen Lyons dynasty.
Okay, cool. So if you're not familiar with Fallout, you have no idea what we just talked about, but thank you for listening anyway. Which brings us to my favourite segment of the show, and it is called All in His Head. So this is the segment where we come up with outlandish, or maybe just outlandish. Is that the opposite of outlandish? Landish?
I think so, yeah.
A landish reason for
the landish
all of this to
Calrissians.
be summed up in his head, or somebody's head, because that's, often with these fan theories, it's, it's in somebody's head, it's all made up, so why don't we just, jump in there with the rest of them.
Right.
So, what have we got this week? You and I have actually discussed this one previously, and we've kind of put together our heads, and we've come up with, which I think is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so some combination of these ideas. Everything that happens in Fallout, okay, what if that was the result of a vault tech experiment in one of the vaults where there is a vault dweller, maybe, because they ran vault drills or whatever it was. What if they had somebody in there in the experiment? They're in one of these, what are they called? The chair recliner virtual reality chairs?
It's like virtual recliners, I think.
Yeah, the virtual recliner. He's in one of those, and they're experiencing everything in Fallout. So everything in Fallout is a virtual reality experiment in a vault tech vault.
It makes sense. I think that theory makes a lot of sense to me. Because, one, you die in the game of Fallout. There's a meta joke in that, you're playing a game that's not real while simulating a game that's not real. You're simulating a game that's not real while playing a game that's not real. That's kind of funny. That would work with the twisted humor of Fallout.
Okay.
And fast traveling as well. You can fast travel in the game, which makes no sense. So those three things. Oh, and you can carry more than you should technically be able to carry. I mean, sure, yeah, there is a carry weight capacity, but I don't believe a person could carry a fat man and a minigun on their back. I don't buy that for a second. So it makes way more sense to me that, this is actually happening in one of those virtual recliners.
It's gamified.
It's gamified, yeah.
An interesting thing that you brought up to me earlier as well was that if you're inside a virtual reality set in the game of Fallout, sometimes there is the precedent that you can give an item to your real-world self. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is that a DLC that came in?
So in Operation Anchorage, it's a little glitch. There's a body called Gary. Everyone who's played Fallout 3 remembers the Garys. They're the greatest, right? There's a Gary clone dead. If you hop into the virtual lounger whilst holding Gary above your head while you're doing it, right? He'll sit above your virtual lounger. So that when you come out of Operation Anchorage and you press like A to swap weapons into a body, you can like search it. Yeah. You can then take your entire inventory from within the game. You can store it in that body. Then when you come out, your weapons don't get removed or magically. They're actually inside that Gary 23.
I thought this was a little bit more plausible than that, Anthony. That just sounds like a bug to me.
Yeah, it might be a bug, and it is, and it kind of maybe,
or
is
something more,
or something more. I'm just saying, you're able to, if you can think it and bend the rules of time and space, and understand that you're in a dream world, just like you're doing when you get out of that, just like Gary did. He understood that.
Maybe that's the whole point of Fallout, right? The whole point of Fallout is Gary.
Gary
had realized that he was outside of space and time, in this terrible parallel universe, retro-futuristic post-apocalypse. And then he fractured the universe, and all of the Garys from every dimension at once all occurred in the same universe. They weren't actually clones. They just all appeared, and then it became Gary Land.
What if Gary is a virus that's just replicated itself and they've stored it away in a vault? Because they call viruses they have like virus vaults.
Yeah.
So maybe he's stored away in the vault because it just replicates himself. The Gary file keeps replicating. That's why he keeps saying Gary.
Anyway, that's enough of Gary for this.
Oh, but Gary's so great.
Episode.
The Garys.
This has been Abstract Nonsense. We're available on social medias if you want to follow us. The best way to help us out, if you're interested, is to go to our iTunes and hit subscribe. So go to your iTunes right now, type in Abstract Nonsense, and hit the little subscribe button.
If you're on an Android device, whatever you use as podcatcher, I recommend Podcast Addict. It's a good little podcast catcher. All right, use that. Type in Abstract Nonsense. Hit that subscribe button, and enjoy.
And Stitcher is good as well.
Stitcher's pretty good.
I believe there's also a subscribe button there. Any podcast catcher will have a subscribe button. Also, if you go directly to iTunes, so this will require actually using iTunes. So you go to the website or go to actual iTunes, whatever, and rate us there. Rate us whatever you feel. If we're doing a good job,
fair.
Whatever you feel fair, that's fine. And that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. So we're also available on Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. Abstract Nonsense. Find us there and give us a shout out and maybe send in your theories for some stuff that we've got coming up. Mm-hmm. That's everything. My name is Joe Lewis.
And I'm Anthony Bull.
Thanks very much for listening and stay Gary.